Hey, what's up, you guys? Today, I'm taking you through the birth of Orlando, my very first oil painting. Coming from a watercolor background, I'm very used to drawing out my paintings before actually painting them in. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking when I try to start painting without any sketch underneath. For Orlando, I took paint straight to the paper, and I was actually pretty happy with what I ended up painting. I didn't record the very beginning of the painting because I wanted to give myself some time alone to figure that out. As I was happy with the base sketch, I didn't end up erasing until a little bit later on. I was surprised because whenever I seen people wipe away their oil paintings, it always seemed pretty easy to do and pretty effortless, but no. At least I found it was kind of messy. It seemed like I kept staining the paper. I think this is most evident from the ear right now. Oil paint is really messy. I thought cleaning acrylics was annoying, but boy, oil painting just takes it to a whole new level. You get paint everywhere. You can see that I tried to wear gloves at some points, and it did help, especially when I was washing up, because the gloves aren't a perfect fit, so sometimes it smudges paint onto other things because of the excess material. My least favorite thing about oil has got to be the cleanup. I've actually placed an order for some cleaning supplies for oil paint because I can't. I can't. I did try using brush soap because I wanted to keep my brushes in good condition, but the brush soap was not working as good as my dishwashing soap was, and I would spend so long just bent over the sink trying to clean my supplies. It was horrendous. And then a little splodge of paint would go onto the countertop or onto my arm or whatever, and then it would just smudge and the whole thing would turn whatever color that was. The very first night, I remember both my hands were completely blue. That speaks mountains of the pigmentation in these little guys, which is fantastic. I appreciate that so much. But boy, it makes it so hard to clean. They're extremely staining. Cleanup was very hard because paint was everywhere, and even the tiniest drop basically covered the entire thing with color. I had to do several rounds of washing the brushes and they still didn't feel super clean unless I used a whole lot of dishwashing soap. So I am going to try out a different kind of soap, and I'm going to try out a coil type cleaner, which I suspect will be a lot better because right now I just kind of clean them on my glove and I rub it in because I don't really have a space or anything to rub them against to get off the paint. I made the decision to paint using only oil paint, or sometimes I would use linseed oil with the oil paint. This is because I just would rather not have any toxic or dangerous things in my house for my family's sake and for my cats, who are also my family. Speaking of which, I noticed after I painted my background black, there were some streaks of white on the background, and I wonder if it's because of the paint coverage or if it's because my cat brushed up against it, because I found a lot of fur on the black background. I'm not too sure about that one. It could be both or one or the other. Now, don't get me wrong, this was a fun activity, but like anything, there were pros and cons, and I was just discovering these things for the first time. One thing I really liked about oil painting was how I could blend things, but I also found that I had to balance between keeping things painterly and smooth because I tend to prefer more painterly looking styles. It got to a point where I kind of regretted some of the decisions I made because I preferred the underpaintings or the layers before then. So I had to find a happy middle ground, or at least try to. I also really enjoyed how I could directly add paint in different colors to already wet paint instead of just smoothing out and blending. Because I had to do it in multiple sittings, it was kind of hard to color match things because I had to mix his skin tone again and again and again, which is really annoying, and I got kind of tired of trying to color match things, so I kind of just went with it. Another problem I faced as a beginner was that even after I was very happy with certain parts of the painting, for example, the right ear and the forehead, when I was working on other parts, I would accidentally smudge or smear some paint into those parts and I couldn't wipe it away because the paint kind of just stained. I would wipe away what I could and then I had pretty much no choice but to paint over it all over again. And that was sucky because sometimes, or a lot of the time, I didn't have the colors I'd used before already on hand because they were from a different painting session. Orlando probably isn't the best version I could make him out to be, but I've spent nearly a month on him because I had to wait for drying times. Frankly, I'm kind of just done with him at the moment. But he sits tall next to my laptop still because he's still wet, and he is a reminder that I just gotta keep chugging on, and he's taught me a lot and I can definitely appreciate the experience. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.